How are you?
Hi.
Hello. There shouldn't be too long. Hopefully he's got your message and we've just finished our last meeting.
Yeah.
Who's going first?
I'll go in first with the presentation, and I and Francis will do the demonstration.
Okay, cool. And you've started recording, which is great.
Sure. Cool. Are we supposed to submit the recording of the final presentation, or just leave it?
I'd put the link on Confluence so we can look back on it again.
Sure.
You'll get an email from Zoom with a cloud link in it. Just make sure you put that on your somewhere easy to find on your Confluence space, like your meetings pages, or maybe you've got a page set up for your final presentation. Good to go on that. It shouldn't be too long. He's just giving the other team a bit of feedback on Slack at the moment.
Sure, no worries. Oh, sorry, I got another thing. Do we still have the supervisor meeting tomorrow?
Oh, good question. I've left it up for the teams to decide.
Yeah, I think
it's up to you guys if you want to have one or not. Just let me know. My phone's ringing for some weird reason. I don't know the number.
Yeah, because I think we will talk about the most of our work today, so maybe it's not necessary to have the supervisor meeting.
Yeah, that's fine. It's up to you guys. I might communicate with you on Slack or email tomorrow just to let you know about the handover process, because we need to make sure the client gets all of the code and documentation that's relevant to the project.
Yeah, especially the documentation, since Nia cannot access the Confluence.
Precisely, yeah. So I just need to make sure that happens because I can't release any grades until the client confirms that they've received everything that they needed.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
So that'll just be the gist of the email if I don't have supervisor meetings.
Cool, thank you.
Right, where is he? Is he struggling to find us? Is he maybe? Where was the message put? Oh, he's got two accounts. Oh no, he's on the new one.
He's coming.
Yeah. Okay.
He's connecting now. No, that was last time.
Hello. Sorry, it took me a while to realize. I was waiting in the other link.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we got some issues with the Google Calendar, so the time is.
Don't worry. Yeah, Zoom does funny things.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's get started.
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Okay, so we are Team PL-Koala, and this is the final presentation of the Planimation Project. We have 5 team members. We are the Jia Zhenyu, Zhi Chaozhong, Xuanhao Hu, Anqi Zhao, and Yishen Tang. So here's the agenda of the presentation. We will have 5 sessions. So first, I'll briefly introduce the project, and then I'll talk about the final scopes of the project, include what is delivered and what has not been done. And there's something else that we want to mention. I will also give some explanation to those items. And then I'll talk about how we guarantee the quality of the project and how we test with our work. After that, we will have a demonstration session of all the features, and then we will listen for the feedback and answer the questions if you guys have any. So first, I'd like to briefly introduce the project. So we are doing 2 projects in this semester. One is Planimation, another one is AI planning. So the Planimation project is an open source framework to visualize the sequential solution of the PDDL problems. And it introduces a PDDL-like animation profile and use Unity 3D for the front end and Django for the back end. And talking about the AI planning, so we were focusing on the 2 sub-projects of it, which are the planning as a service. It's a newly improved planner in the cloud. And the Plan Utils is a general library for the Linux-based environment for the planner. So in this project, our tasks include issuing, fixing, and further extension of the program. So we fix several issues. First is the long action name disappear problem. And this one is because the Unity front-end component for the stage had incorrect style. So it truncates the whole name of the step. And we adjusted the style. Now the name can display correctly. And the visit or visualization problem. So we solved this problem by improving the logics used in the backend to handle the negative effects of the actions. Unable to reach the network. The error source of this issue is the common syntax of the PDDL files. So the backend cannot recognize those PDDL syntax correctly. So we added some comment filter functions. So the backend can filter the comments in the PDDL files now, and it works well. The action cost syntax in PDDL file. So this one is similar to the previous one. Like the backend cannot recognize the action cost syntax. So it didn't get the correct predicate list and the process failed. So we fixed this problem by improving the functions in domain parser. So we will talk about this later. We also added some feature extension to the product. We added the unit test framework to test the functionality of the backend. And we will talk about the details in the quality assurance session. We added more error handling function in the backend and updated the front end. So the product is more stable for handling the errors and can display the error message in the front. We also made some progress on the action cost problem. Now the product can handle the action cost syntax in some special cases and display the cost message in the front end. And so here's something that we haven't done and something we want to mention. First is also the action cost visualization. So we didn't find any suitable visualization toolkit for the front end, and we think it's really take time to adjust the front end UI to handle the visualization toolkit. There's 2 issues about the planning as a service. One is CI/CD, another one is provide a lightweight local running. So we think these 2 issues are future enhancement and optimization of the project. And we do not have enough time to do these 2 issues in the sprint. There's something special that we want to mention. First one is about the utils not working. We actually successfully deployed the server on the AWS Linux server, and we will demonstrate this later. And by using the BFWS planner, we can now get the plan by input the domain and the problem file. But but the plan is currently stored in the server side, and so I think we need to update the API to make sure the server will return the plan with the API response. So talking again about the action cost support, we noticed that there are some like existing logics of the backend parser that need to be improved to handling the different situations. For example, in the domain parser, there's a function about how to about getting the predicate list of the domain file. However, it was just using two keywords. One is predicate, another one is action. It used these two keywords to identify the predicate list in the domain file. So it's not very stable because this is not always the case. For example, sometimes we will have like the function between the action and the predicate list. So if this is the case, the action will, the process will fail. And this is one of the reasons why the action cost cannot be recognized. So I did improve the logic behind this function. So I think it's more stable and can handle different situations. But the backend is more likely to be a compiler to the PDDL. But I think it's very challenging to write a compiler of PDDL syntax. It's maybe better to use some third-party library. So talking about the quality assurance and the testing. So once we complete some tasks and we want to commit to the repository, we were testing with all the existing features, not just the one we just created. So we do this to make sure that there's no conflicts between our code and the existing features. Other than that, we were also testing with each other's work to find if there's any potential problems. Except that, we also created the unit test. Currently, we have 8 test cases. Those test cases involve the functionalities in the domain parser and the program parser, predicate generator, and the solver. We also have a test case for the entire backend process. And every time we finish our work, we will run those unit tests to make sure that the backend functions are working as expected. So next, I will have a demonstration to the Planimation project, and then Francis will have a demonstration to the Planning as a Service project. I'll stop sharing and share my screen with the, 1 second. Can you guys see the screen? Okay, cool. So I already got the Planimation running on my local environment, and I also got the server running, and I'll do the one by one. First, oh, sorry. Not this one. First is about the long action name disappear problem. So as you can see, even some action has very long action name, it can display the action step name correctly. And next one is about the visit or visualization problem. So as you can see, the block will stay state of visited even if the robot revisits that block. The next one is about the unable to reach the network problem. We contact with the student who raised this problem, and we got the PDDL files. So now it can work well and won't get that errors. Okay, done. And for this one, we also created more. More error handling function. And for example, if we are in the code, I just randomly find any of them, and I raise the exception. Test the message for error handling. Like if we have this exception in the backend, and we just rerun the process. So we will have the just error message that we typed times ago. And it will not just display the unable to reach the network. Instead, we have more specific questions, like it failed in the past problem session, and here's the error message. So next one is about the long action cost. And first, those three files are includes the actions problems. And as you can see in the, in the program file, like the first action is 3, the second one, the local 2 is 1. Let's try it. Oh, sorry, I just forgot to delete that error message. Okay. Try again. Program. And the domain. So like the first step from local 1 to 1 to local 2 1. Local 1 to local 2 1 is 3. The step cost is 3 and the total cost is 3. The second one, 2 1 2 2 2, like the step cost is 1 and total cost is 4. However, there's something that I want to mention about this one. Currently, we can, if we check the PDDR file, like we specific the cost is called traverse cost, and the total cost is the total cost. Currently, the backend can only handle this kind of situation by using the keywords total cost and the traverse cost. I know that we know that this is not the correct way, because we can definitely specify any keywords that we want, but as we mentioned, as I mentioned before, the logic in the backend parser is to be improved to solve this kind of situation. So next one is about the unit test framework. Let me switch to the unit test branch. Okay, cool. And okay, cool. So here, if I type Python and unit test cases, we are running the test cases. All three. Here we got 8 test cases. They're all passed. And in the test cases, second. Here. So for example, if like this one, it just makes sure it tests if the stage is the same as the expected stage. But if we change it to not equal, so that expect to get some error. Let's run again. Yeah. So we failed 1. It's in these test cases, like the same one. And here's the error message. The generated simple stage are different from the expected output. So those test cases involves the functionality in the, I would say, in the whole backend, like domain parser, plan generator, and also have a whole process, has a test cases. The first one, test Planimation process. This one tests all the entire process of the backend. So I think those test cases involves all the functions in the backend. So these are the features that we have been done with the Planimation project. Next, Francis will demonstrate the planning and the service project.
Can you see the screens?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. There are a few servers here. This one is for the backend server. On the AWS Linux server. And this one is for the celery queue. This one for the queue monitor. And this one just for the output of my Llama or BF WS result. And here I'm gonna show a few domain and problems gonna solve. So for example, if the common problem, just like for the bugs wrapped down for the common stuff, and this one is domain, and this one is problem. And click submit. So here's the status of the celery queue, and click one of them. So it's gonna be the result is pretty complex. I'm gonna show the monitor here. So here we can see that these two are successful compile, and this one is the result of it, but it's not the output of these two solver. So I'm gonna show what's the result here. So I changed the code to output all the files in one directory. So I can show that here. So you can see that there are 3 files here. One is execution details and plan IPC. This one is from best wide search, and this one SAS plan is for the Llama. So we can show the result of them. You can see here. This is a planning of it, and it cost 14 stage. And if we show the Llama one, so we can see that basically this two gets the almost similar result, basically the same. But this one is for the normal problem without cost. So what if we just input some cost domain and cost problems? So we can do a new submit here. So we choose another one. For this folder, it's all about cost domain. Click so. Oh, sorry, I have to remove the result first. So you can see that there is nothing here. And we'll do it again. So we refresh the monitor. And because I submit twice, so there are 6 tasks here, and we check the result. So here, there are only 2 files here. These 2 files are all from the BFWS, and these two result I'm gonna show it. Sorry. So this basically is the case Jiazhen has showed before, and it takes cost of 2, and it's the optimal result. But here's the thing, because Llama cannot handle the cost domains and cost problems, so there's only one result. So in some cases, if our backend just distinguish if the solver can't resolve any just like cost domains or other problems, we can use only this one. So for other cases, I have cases different cases shown here, like this problem. Sorry, I'm going to show this problem. So for this problem I've showed before for the visualization part, and we just try it. It looks like this, and then we find it's not optimal. So we want to try if Llama or the BFWS can solve this problem with optimal solution. We can choose the best solver. So we use this one.
Do you need to remove the existing result?
Yeah, sorry. So just here. Somewhere. So there's 2. And we find out this llama give us 4 plan of it. So we check the BFWS first. And then we find out it gives us cost of 19. And then we check llama. This one gives us 19. This one gives us 18. This one gives us 17. I think this one is the best. So this one is the optimal solution for it. So we're not sure, because we never used llama before, so we're not sure which plan is the best. So the only way we can do it is check all the results. But for different solver, the format of the output is different. So we're not sure how to solve it in the future. So I want to discuss with Nia. So which one you prefer? Just like we compare all the results or just use one?
Yeah, I would like to add something else. So for the planning as a service project, and like we got the issues, like we cannot run the project with the plan utils, but actually in this server, I successfully installed the llama without any errors, and by using BFWS, we actually got the planner working. But just we are not sure about which result is optimal or how do we going to do with the different results. Another way is how do we going to do with the planner we wanted to return the HTTP request or something else. Yeah, just we are not sure what are we going to do for the future development. Yeah, so I think that's all for the demonstration at the presentation. And do you have any questions?
Yes, first of all, well done. Thanks for the presentation. Thanks for your work. I mean, I've got a few comments, so if you want to, I think, is this session being recorded?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's recording.
Good. So then you can go through the questions or review it. So there is the first one that I wanted to comment is about the unit test framework that you did. Thanks for doing that.
Oops.
Internet.
Yes, back again.
Sorry. Yes, my internet is not stable today. Good. Okay. So this will be great for all the development that we're from now onward. Then my question would be if you can figure out what it is that we need to do to integrate it in the Travis pipeline. So every time that someone does a pull request, the tests get triggered.
Oh, yeah.
So this would be something very useful. Then let me see. Comments about, I saw that you documented very well all your code. Thanks for that, using doc strings. So I wonder if it's worth setting up in the documentation this plugin. So I just shared the link. This is a plugin for mkdocs. So mkdocs is the tool that we're using to generate the documentation. So it's Markdown and it converts it to HTML. And I think that it would be good to take advantage that you've got all this documentation. And I guess that we could actually generate automatically from the doc strings. All the so this is something I think it would be good to add. Then does it, okay, when you mentioned about the cost functions, so I understood that now it only works if the costs are expressed with a function whose name is traverse cost, right? If you change that to okay, good. So for that, we need to look, if you can check out if the parser gives you a list of functions, because the same way that it gives you a list of predicate names, it may already give you a list of function names.
Yes, I would like to explain this in detail. So currently, the Planimation project, I mean, before we handle the Planimation project, the parser cannot handle the action cost in the specified in the problem PDDL. Like it will take the action cost as a maybe just an object, and in the domain we got the functions, not the action, it's the functions that specify how we handling with the action cost. But it can also it also cannot handle with the functions. Like in before, if we have functions in the domain file, it will fail to generate the predicate list. So I kind of updated the logics. So now, even if we have the functions, it will also successfully generate the predicate list. However, the reason why currently we only got the travel cost keyword working is that like the whole logic in the domain and the program parser did not considering about the action cost, the syntax of the action cost. And you know, the syntax is very complex, I would say. I mean like if we want to handwrite a compiler to handle this problem, that would be very complex one.
So I agree with you. I mean, and it's true that you managed to at least get it working and not failing. And it's true that, so parsing the function names and arguments is simple. What is hard is to parse the effects that are encoded in actions, because well, it's expressed in let's say a Lisp language. So you have to parse it in the correct way. So that can be done as an extension, or there are parsers in Python that handle it already. So we could port that functionality from other places. So that's something that it's good to know where we stand, but also that we could tap into other parsers that are available online, and I can point out to that. Okay, good. So then what else? So we should add an issue about that. So importing this functionality from other parsers. Then we in terms of the output that you were showing that in the local terminal, you get the output. When you click on the status, the current existing code for the solver online, or the solver online or the plan. Okay, no, I think it's the editor. The editor has a JavaScript snippet or something that basically reads the output and shows it in a nice way. So I think that we could get in touch with Christian so he can give us that code, because that's something that we'll end up reusing. Right? So we already have an existing module to get the output and show it in a nice way in HTML, let's say.
Yeah.
What else? In the future, we'll have to look at good, about what a planner can support. So the idea of planutils is that each planner will have a manifest saying which features they handle from the language. So I guess that in the future we will be able to ask our planners as service, like, give us a list of all the planners that support costs, and you would be able to choose. And there are other properties that will appear there, if they're optimal or not. Then in terms of Llama, you say that you see how it generates more than one plan. The reason why is because it is an anytime planner. That means that it will not stop the search when it finds the first plan, but it will continue until either it times out, so you give it a limit, or it found the optimal solution. So every time that you get a plan, a SAS plan dot an integer, the higher the integer, the better the plan. And the last one should be the optimal if it stopped without any timeout. Okay, so if you stop it at any point, you just look at the best solution.
Yeah.
Then, and then you said that you managed to use Llama. So did you use it from source code? Did you compile it from the source code, or did you use planutils at the end?
I remember I just used the planutils. Like, I still use the planutils package to install the Llama to the.
Okay, so then it worked with planutils.
Yeah, this is the strange thing, because I thought it expect to get some error, but actually successfully installed, and like I can use Llama in the command line to solve the problem, and of course in the planning and the service.
Good, good. And is it a singularity image that is getting built when you install Llama?
This is a kind of complex. I would say this is a very complex stage. Maybe I did it in the wrong way, but I get it work. So I have a recorded documentation about how I achieve it, and I like, but it's in the conference. So later we will organize all the documentation we got to like error handling and deployment record to you. Yeah.
Good, good. So that would be very valuable. So the whole idea of plan utils is because we know as you know, as developers of planners, we know that it is not easy to set up. You know, as so many systems, we are not professional and developers, and so the idea of plan utils is to make life easier. So if it doesn't make life easier, we are failing. So it would be really good.
There's one more thing that I want to mention, because in the instruction it mentioned that the Linux is Ubuntu, but what the servers used in AWS, what I was using is CentOS. It's kind of a little bit of difference, I would say. So I'm not sure if that's the reason why I successfully installed Planimation. I'm not sure.
We'll find out.
Hey guys, we've about reached time. Nerd, do you want to have the final say?
Just
summary?
yes, just a summary. I would just say that I'm very glad having the whole team participate in the project. You did really well. I mean, the quality of the code, the quality of having the test cases. So you did really important features. You managed to solve important bugs. So I would just have to say that thank you for your contribution, and I hope that, you know, if you enjoyed it, you can always keep in touch with the community. I hope that it's still growing and it will grow. Okay, so
thank you very much. It's our honor to participate in this project.
My pleasure.
Great. Okay, guys. Thanks for your time. We've got the recording, so that's good. And I think there's a little bit of things to do at the end of it, some feedback to take on board. We'll touch base during the week, rest of the week, guys, on Slack, I guess. Otherwise, you know, thank you, Nur, for coming up with these ideas and allowing some students to work on them.
I mean, it's all symbiotic. Let's say we're all helping each other.
This is part of the job, really, doesn't it?
Good.
All right, guys. Thanks for your time. We'll catch up later.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.